All right, Yogi. So just pace yourself. I have to make sure the most strong, feeling good person is challenged. But even if you do half of this stuff, you're doing well. I would suggest on a good day to do a little more and to work on what you're not good at. Remember, attempting the new is kind of how we grow. Habit is good, your routine, your comfort. But again, that's more for when you're not feeling so good. All right. Let's start standing today if you're up for it, please. So when we start standing, yogis, just take one moment, that kind of yoga start where we just connect to our body, right? Really, this is the foundation of everything we're doing in our exercise and physical yoga is this our conscious awareness is trying to feel our body more, right? It's becoming more aware of the layers of ourself. The yogis claim that the physical is the superficial first layer. And before you get going with any of our big muscles, maybe some deep breathing. I like to suggest a little exaggerated inhale, almost lifting the chest like you would a cobra. So you inhale maximum and you feel the core, the breath. And then on the exhale, it's almost like you contract the core a little bit, almost going into a bad posture. I'm taking my hands on my core to feel the body more. You're practicing feeling, being present with yourself, mind to body. Your aware, conscious, intelligent attention is connecting to the breath and how it's affecting the body. Right? Breathing is our main real physical action, right? I now brought my hands to my side. I'm seeing if I can breathe and move the side ribs, the side waist laterally into my hands. And I'm almost exhaling, pushing my hands into my side body a little bit. So it's your most intentional, mindful, present breathing for a minute. We call this isolated breathing. You're doing nothing else except breathing and being aware of it. Okay? Just like we might isolate a certain muscle group, we're isolating the breath. Okay? So I'm going to start with our dynamic warm up. Please take your time, move through these exercises, feel what you're feeling. Watch what I'm doing, listen, but then no more watching, all right? Right into hinging. Here we go. Inhale. And exhale. I squeeze the butt, I squeeze the thighs, I lift the chest, I pull the belly in. Inhale, I relax that a little bit. So this is called Ardha Uttanasana in yoga, or RDL. You get your deadlift. Notice my knees are bent, yogis, okay? Notice my spine isn't rounding yet. At the top, I could round a little. But as I go forward, cow. And as I come up, cat. I want you to work on engaging muscle better and feeling, maybe speeding it up. The top is bridge, guys. Okay? By bridge, I mean I engage my butt, I tuck my tailbone, I push the hips a little forward. Last moments here. Remember, you can add anything from previous classes. Remember this idea of approaching the new, the creative, the art, you're a philosopher with your body. You're trying to become aware of new experiences with safe habit also, right? Continuing, come back to center, widen your feet, look at the hip tilting. So everything you know in the beginning, we'll see a few different ones in a moment. This is our triangle, our lateral tilting of our pelvis. I can start to move the arms. Look at me getting a little more fluid. Look at me bending my knees a little bit more. Now, the goal, guys, is not to give me your attention. You got to now feel the core. I'm pulling my belly. Okay? It's light so far, pretty easy to start, okay? Continuing, bend the knees, turn. Now again, I could do this in a very light, almost very stretchy way. I could do this in a little bit more of a core active way. So can you contract your core, not be too stiff either? Don't jam your spine, you're into that range. Contract it a little, right? Now, if I did a strong workout yesterday, I might approach that different than if I haven't worked out in a day or two. I would work on maybe more active if I wasn't very active recently. All right. Right into it, yogis. No rush. The squatting. Okay. You know what to do. And again, there's a lot of ways to do this, yogis. I'm actually not going all the way up. Right? I'm going halfway down, up, little further down, little less up. I'm kind of changing it each rep a little. Not as deep, not as high up. A little faster, a little bouncier. Do the same exercise you've done in a kind of different way for different effects. The magical body, right? The electrical nervous system. That electric is, what we measure for like real vitality, right? Some athletes have these electric potentials in the neurons much higher than the average person. And the electric is, once the electric's gone in your body, there's no more life, right? So the electric, picture the moving energy, literally electric. It's magnetism, there's blood, there's fluid flowing with iron, metal in your blood. Everything is moving. Even in our computer here, the electric is what keeps it running. The moving energy. Okay? Continuing. Arms up. Now, if you want a little easier, you go here. Look at this big movement. We're about to get a little bit more. It is the last kind of opener. Okay? Then the exercises go up. We're doing a little bit more standing to start today. If you want a little bit more, your arms are up, your feet are together. Remember, guys, more challenges is better. You gotta first figure out how you're doing today. Some days you go for a longer walk because you're feeling better. And this is the longer walk. This is the shorter one, maybe a little bit easier on the body. What type of doubt? How's the sleep been? How's the stress levels been? That should kind of play a role in your decision making and training. Just like you take restorative yoga some days and skip the power. Let's go here, guys. So, yogis, again, the hybrid of fitness. Let's use all of our tools. Lunging. It looks like this. Inhale. Back knee gets low. Exhale. Now, there's a lot of ways to do it. I'm going to alternate legs. I want you to do some dynamic lunging. I want you to feel your legs. Okay. Now, say you're feeling good. You might do a single leg repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Get your high knee going. Okay. So in that last demo, one leg was repeated. Some options for better contractions. Pulsing. Hold. Slow. Pulsing fast. So I go slow in the big movement. I have my hold. And I have my fast pulse. If anyone wants to go strong, put your left foot on the mat. Put your right foot on a table and do the sliders and really feel the inner thighs This is like a whole nother level, yogis. Using those inner muscles to really pull the legs together. We don't do that often. Okay? I want a good couple minutes of lunging. Now, can you close your eyes? Can you remember your intention to feel your muscles, mind to muscle, mind to breath, breath to muscle? It's all in this potent inner mind-body experience. The yogis are talking about, well, in the olden days, they would say you give your attention to your land, you give your attention to your house, you give your attention to the work, the family. Now, aim that awareness, where the mind, the perceiver is watching toward the self. That's the whole thing. Okay, make sure you switch sides. I can give you another short minute here, about 45 seconds. Nice, that's it, Nicole. You feel that, right? As you're pulling that, there it is. Nice, Brian. Everyone's looking good. And if you don't got the sliders, that's okay. The sliders are very different, though. You really, it's required a whole new thing for the muscles, even though it's the same movement pattern, right? Now you're not really bending over in that one. You see how the spine, and it's more of like this hip, knee movement. Now we're gonna go straight, kind of a hinge. Take your time, yogis. You're doing your thing, I'm moving forward. This is a dynamic movement. I'm really challenging your body's ability to move. So be easy, don't go too deep, yogis. I'm gonna need you to straddle. Your legs were going forward and back dynamically. Now they're static and straddle. Inhale, you guys know this one. You actually kind of did it earlier, but now we add the rotate. It's not for strength, okay? If you did want a strength, you could do this one. But I'm gonna go a little bit more flexy. Exhale, inhale. Just a few, okay? You're just kind of reaching your opposite hand to the opposite knee as you bend over. Another way we could kind of do this is something like this, right? It's similar. This is going to be a little bit less hidden. I mean, it's kind of the same. So don't be shy to do it different. Another demo, because we're all trying to learn, is this one, where you're kind of reaching across to the foot. You're just bringing the foot up. You're not bringing the chest down. Just in case we're doing a little too much. This could be another one. Be a creative artist, yogis. That seems to be the artist is the creator of the new. It seems to be like the human brain's ultimate, well, currently, it's like prime, most advanced function to create new out of where it didn't exist. So we're using our greatest ability within our body's approach, right? Just some food for thought, okay? Not too much habit. Continuing, all right? Shake it out. So we will go to squat. I'm challenging you now, yogis. The lunge was forward and back. This was twist with neutral hips. You can see our biomechanics. There's a particular strategy. The goddess. We did squats dynamically. Now we hold. I need you to really work this pelvic floor, the belly in, okay? Now, I'm going to go here today. I'm going to challenge you now. It's a big one. Yogis, I'm not twisting. You did a stretchy one. You did the stretchy lateral hips. Here we go. If you want more, I get down in that side, I pulse. Can you work on your leg strength, connecting to your core? through the pelvic floor, through the belly in, through the shoulders back and the side body. Not just mind to muscle, mind leading muscles to connect better. That's how the body works, not just one muscle. Open those knees now, get low. We are in challenge. I just kind of gave you a stretchy opportunity, okay? Feel free to skip it if you need, though. This is a lot stronger than it seems. A lot of times what you see is the fitness people, right? They'll kind of take like a kettlebell and they'll kind of dip down in one side, kind of something like that, right? Now, I want you to take your time. After that stiff, sticky struggle, shake it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go into a static balance, yogis. So think unstable hold. Let's create unstable conditions, and you work on being more stable. I'm going to do warrior three. You can notice we did two dynamic hinges, one with the rotation, now the static neutral one-legged. Looks like this, yogis, a nice basic. Now, say you want to go a little more, right? You could do something like this. You've had that opportunity, but it's a wonderful full body. Next opportunity could be here. Hold, maybe going down a little bit. Add a little legs. Watch the third option. Remember, we have to kind of remember the core is always working with the hips through the legs. We will do some isolated core like crunches, right? But that's kind of only a little side dish of core training. The entree is more the legs through the core and the posture and the breathing. So we're doing one round, and after this, we're going to get a little bit more, we're going to do something a little more funky, okay? This is linear. I'm on the second leg. Again, warrior three hold, you can't go wrong. Half moon could be a choice here. Revolved half moon, getting in warrior and doing a rotation style. Remember this one? We're going to do something like that shortly. I'm trying to inspire some personal creativity. If you came in a little after we started, I was just trying to give you some philosophy along with our science, that it seems like the universe, whatever you want to call it, nature, God, whatever, it doesn't matter the belief. It seems that progression is always happening. No day, you only do everything once. Everything is always changing. And that is very fundamental in like everything, progression, change. So as the instructor, I have to kind of, and what's the definition of change? It's not science, it's art. It's the dance, it's the philosopher, it's not the scientist, really. The scientist is rigid and needs replication, and I sometimes take too scientific of an approach, okay? So let's meet here. Here we go, guys. So beginner, bend knees, circle core, very slow. Beginner, right? Eyes are closed, feeling subtleties. This is beginner. Second tier, 1 foot hovers now. We're going for it. I want you to get into a new space you never felt. We've done this before, it's been a while. I have my knees slightly bent. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm feeling my hips relate to the core. I am circling not only my core, but my hip atop my leg. My right leg is circling. I'm articulating the core like cat-cow. Do you see what's happening? Look at my core. There's no exact way. I'm going to give you a nice loosening up thing after this. but mainly it starts as this idea of the circle. It kind of moves into a hip circle. Then it's combining the two on one leg with the hip, the pelvis. Look at the hip rotating. Okay, now your creative personal version of a body, mind, breath experience, not something exact. Life is never exact. You know, you get like too kind of structured in exercise, and body movements are kind of like that. Okay, just try it. Get outside the comfort zone. Okay, fall a little bit. Let's do the second side if you're ready. The goal is to feel your core. It's not a resisted exercise. Only last couple exercises standing. We're on the ground the rest of class. Do some planks. Okay, do some bridge. So get that movement, that new territory discovered. Nice, Brian. Nice, Leslie. Nice, Nicole. Ooh, nice, Kathy. So something we do, I'm just going to start demoing. You're just doing the dance. Something we do in yoga a lot is this. We do it on the back too. I want you to do it standing today, okay? It's a walking, slower, strengthening hip circle. Get to the back of your mat, give it a little shake here, yogis. Posture, right? Now watch what I do. It's like I'm lifting my right leg back, open, up, over, forward. I take a little step forward. I want a little exaggerate. Let me show you the other angle, the other foot. I went back, turn open. Go slow, please. Okay, I'm here. Take a little slow circle. Now, don't force it. Like I go pretty deep, yogis, because I'm an instructor, and I can take extra risk because I'm a full-time fitness person. That allows me more, more risk without injury, right? So now I'm actually going backwards. So what I'm doing is I'm at the front of my mat, and then I'm going forward, out, turn it down, working those hips, okay? Can we try? Now, what am I looking out for? Stuff like this, tense, this. Just nice and tall. Training the hips in a complex way, no more linear, stuff. So this is used in all types of different fitness, right? It's now, if you're familiar with Kinstretch, it's a very new emerging mobility, movement through strength and complex ranges. So range of motion training, but strength always top priority. All the athletes are doing it, all the people that are injured. Now, it should be as slow as possible if we were taking that approach, but again, that's really difficult. So I won't bring you there. Now, yogis, we've been working the sacrum a lot, the joints here. You might feel that. As you can see, they're a center joint in the core. They're at the lower backs, at the back of your hips, right? So it's always good to, after you work that, to shake that out a little bit, right? Now, we got to do the spiral line. How do we train rotators, yogis? Most of you know this one. Left knee lifts, right knee bends. Over to the right, pause. Look at my right leg, though. It's not moving. Excuse me, my right foot's not moving. It's the hip and the core. If you need a little break between any time, look at this cat-cow. Hands on the knees, inhale. Look at this cat. Inhale, exhale. That's a release. So is this, right? Something nice and light, a little more simple, because we're not in simple anymore. My knee is bent. I turn my core, my hips to the right. Left, pause. As you get better, yogis, you can go faster, but be easy. I'm turning open, I'm pausing. That's like half moon. It's kind of the same stuff. I'm here, open. My right foot is cemented to the floor. And I'm feeling this turning aspects of my legs work. You can also do it like this in a sense. You could do it like this in a sense. Right? And sometimes we do it like this. In case anyone needs to do it a little different. Basically the same. See that one? Really working that rotation, okay? Can we switch sides if you haven't? I'm gonna get you down to the ground after this. I'd like to do more standing, but we got other stuff we gotta do. It's a really good one. You clean your floors, you're getting some good exercise here, guys. See how the foot at the hip is turning out, in, out, in, out. Severely undertrained, the resisted, complex rotational spiral lines of your leg through your hip, right? The foot, ankle, through the leg. I think that's pretty good, yogis. We've done a few laterals, done a few rotationals, lunge, hinge, squat. We're doing pretty good for standing. A lot of variety today, okay? Again, that kind of creative antagonist approach. Train your push-up, then train your back, right? I will move forward, no rush. I would like a child pose, deepest squat, third squat here for a lot of us. Okay? Kind of like the devil high knee you've been doing. A little stretchy. If you need a quick down dog or child pose, I'm doing this instead of child pose. You're just making your way to this next part of class. So yogis, we got options. Beginners, hold. Second tier, alternate. That's beginner. That's warm up. Maybe this one, still kind of beginner, right? What do? We take it to the plank. I'll move forward. Plank pose, hold position. Squeeze butt and thighs, top tailbone, spread the back. Do you notice I'm not in a neutral? I am not here, yogis. You can do that, but I'd like to see more muscular engagement, not neutral. Options, lift that right leg. Maybe pulse it up. Options, after pulsing, knee to forehead. Couple pulses there. If you need to go on your forearms, it's kind of a basic plank style with either knees down for less or legs hovering for more. We got balance in plank. Left arm reaches forward if the right leg's lifted. So right now, yogis, if you want to have a strong body and you remember your goals right now, what's the inner process, your thoughts and visions, how you use your mind to push yourself? This is key. And then, what you're going to do is kind of take a rest and shake it out. Not too long, though, 10, 20, 30 seconds maximum, because it's just a plank. It's not like we're lifting peak weight or something where you really go into stress. If you need, I like to sit back and, maybe your ankles are tight. You take weight off of the arms, you lean back a little. Think of it like a cobra after, normal down dog or something. I'm going to do the second plank with the option of a lateral or rotational. Everyone knows this stuff, okay? This isn't really new. And I'll bring you on the forearms just to give the wrist a break. We don't want that to be the limiting factor. So I'm going to get into my plank. Watch me here. Right foot off my mat. Left foot off my mat. Right foot in the center. Left foot in the center. Boom, 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 boom. Unstable. Another nice one is circling. Now, yogis, I am demonstrating a slider. So this is like plank. I am on the knees, right? I take my slider or ab. That is the same as plank. I pull it back. Yeah. And you get to clean your floors while you do some exercise. The rotational plank, yogis, we're doing 3 planks, okay? So make it good here. Heels to the right, heels to the left. Pulsing, holding. The goal is to feel that core, though. Yogis, if you're really strong and feeling good, you know you would go into inversion. You would do handstand hold at the wall, or forearm stand, or headstand. That's all spinal and full body. It's kind of the same. You're just, instead of being here with the weight in front, you're here trying to stabilize. So handstand holds at the wall, 3 rounds, right? Now, I'm going to get back into the kind of creative core. Now, basic, you're up, take a rest when you're done. It looks like some of you are done. Stay focused. Class is going to be over soon, yogis. I like to do that. I'm just choosing this today as kind of like a neutral rest. You have your toes tucked, your legs are straight, a lot of tension in the front body. You kind of release that. Bring the hands behind you, stretch the shoulders. Shake the arms out a little bit, right? A quick break. All right, so third, if you're keeping it simple, side plank. Our most basic is something like this, but that's not really side plank. This is. Remember this one? One of the McGill Big 3, the back specialists. Notice I'm not curled into a ball. I have a nice long core here. That's the actual, first here. Full side plank is amazing. Watch this fun one. Side plank, right arm underneath left. We don't do this one much. Very good in fitness. Chest open. Boom. If you want to get a little bit more dancey, last option, guys, watch what I do. I'm in the plank. Side, rotational plank, side plank, flip plank. You guys know this kind of vinyasa, maybe even dancing a little in your plank. I'm in fallen triangle now. Remember this one from our vinyasa? Left foot open, flip, and then you feel the core. The dance within the plank, the explorer, the artist within plank position. Let's go. Have some fun, yogis. You want to work those arms because we do a little less arms today. And then again, maybe you haven't done the fallen triangle in a while, and you hold that and you kind of move up and down in that, right? You take what I'm giving you and you add, you change it. Continuing, yogis, now that's front body, unless you maybe flipped your plank. Even side planks done with most people's front body, we compensate kind of down to the front. Our goal is to kind of get it in the back, probably a little bit more. Here we go. So you take your little rest. Now, yogis, this is key, all right? I need you to slow down now and get subtle again, okay? We'll meet on the chest. Again, this is that antagonist style. Front, side, now back. And I'm going to give some more options. We're going to do 3 rounds. A real beginner would isolate the lower back, and you should do this a lot of days. I teach it most weeks, where I press my pubic bone down, I engage my legs by my thighs are active, and I point the toe. I pull my belly off the floor as I lift my back up. I don't lift my back. I go up.
And I really got to slow down and try to feel. Sometimes the mind-body connection lacks here, okay? If you're ready to go for it, you could go right for like a locust, right? I do want to remind you it's very different. It's a different exercise with different effects. When I'm exercising, I can kind of tell based on the day, what I've done, how my body's feeling. Do I need the lower back really active, or do I want the full thing going here? I'm also adding like my arms, you can see. Okay, so first round of the back body is kind of linear. Okay, continuing. Second round of the back body is going to be more asymmetrical. Yogis, he said, don't go crazy. I have to kind of raise the bar some classes. Looks like this. Cobra hold, neck long, but head back. Right arm, left leg. You guys know it, right? We do it all the time. Right leg, left arm, hold. Now you can even do stuff like that if you're getting fancy. All right, otherwise, the other asymmetrical. The arms lift, the legs lift. I roll to the left. You can see my right side is off the floor. This is that side back. It's a big one, guys. Back to the chest, controlled over to the left. And I feel here, the back, side, left. It's like you're going to side plank, but your legs and your chest are hovering. Right here is where we're training, guys. So that's the second option. Remember, with new territory, it's very unlikely you'll get hurt in what you're good at and what you do a lot of. It's much more likely you'll have these kind of quote unquote injuries in that new space. You don't know, your form isn't good, your mind and muscle's not good, you're rushing through it, it's freaking you out. You get emotional, you lack the awareness that the intelligent mind can't function as well. So it's a tricky space, those new ones, right? Just some food for thought. Now, take your time. It looks like a lot of these are done. Go like this, yogis. Take it out now. All right, so a couple other options. Third, final round, your creative choice today. Basics are good. Stay with locust, right? Other options here, holding locust, the double. You can even go bow, hold bow, single leg. I'm giving you some choices to train the back. You could hold bow. You could roll to the side and bow. Yogis, locust, you could roll to the side all the way now. Leg hovering, look, I roll to the back. I am now in our favorite boat pose. I roll so slow to the side. Thigh hover, shoulder hover. Stomach, right side, second side. Oh boy, complex core. Look at this one. I'm in that one, I'm dancing. I'm dancing in locust. Look at me moving the legs. It goes further. I get into the boat, I work in between here, the side and the boat. I get on the side, I move. I get on the front side, I move. I'm now creating less linear, new, weird stimulation. Last round, I gave you a lot of playtime there.
Simple as smart, yogis. Just because crazy hippie yoga guy makes a suggestion doesn't mean it's the best for you. We're all also working on kind of putting up a boundary here and there. You know, you have to honor yourself and protect yourself too. Okay, now, maybe in the end, like that's very all over. You can do another cobra again, right? You could do a stretchy cobra too. I often will do cobras. You know, I'll have like my music going in my head. My eyes are closed and I'm just like with the body and the music's giving me flow and inspiration. And I'll be doing some crazy stuff. And then I'll just stop in the middle and hit a couple cobras, right? I'll go from this complexity into symmetrical. It's kind of like walking around the kitchen, and then I bend over to pick something up. You go from this kind of crazy, complex space, a lot happening, into something more mindful and strategic. And I'll hit a quick cobra after all that, whether it's kind of active or stretchy. Because you know I'm not stretching you out too much, yogis. Okay? Continuing. Take a quick child pose. Anything else that you need, all right? You got one more tier to go through, yogis. I'm gonna go into the side body. This one's not too bad, all right? Before we hit our abs, I'm gonna lay you down on the side. I didn't see too many of you doing the side on there. Not too many of you did side plank either, so last side body. I will give options. I know it's tough to see. I got all black on today there. I'm on the side. Right leg lifts, hold. Right leg down halfway, watch. Right leg up, hold. Pulse. Yogis, pull your belly and tuck your tailbone. I want strategy and intention here. Just because it feels like the leg's doing the job, I still need the core connecting. If I want to try something more, remember this one. This one's a little technical. I want to roll to my chest. It's starting our glute bridge. I want to bring the leg behind me a little more. I want to turn the toes up a little more. And then what do? I lift the leg not just up now, back, up, and out. It's going to be a little bit more of the butt. So I'm rolling to my chest. Up, back, and out. I need your hip to burn, particularly the outer hip. If I could show you in another way, in case you're confused, we're basically doing this, but being on your side is more weight. Watch me. We're basically doing this first, just right out. Now watch the second part, what it is. Toes out, leg going back and out. You notice? First part's here, second part's there. Okay? Last few. Bridge is going straight back. We're kind of in between a lateral and a posterior. Yogis, try to feel the big toe. This is key. When I'm doing this, I want the foot active. It's like I'm engaging, making a fist with my foot. I'm spreading the toe. There's a lot of evidence that the big toe activation starts to help you stimulate the glute. Okay? Switching sides when you're ready. Looks like some of you already have. I need your hip to, let's say, burn and fatigue. And for lack of a better word, yogis, hurt, you know. All pain is not bad. Strengthen those muscles. It hurts a little, yogis. You know, you're demanding a lot of your muscles because they're capable. Sometimes I notice yogis think too little of ourselves, that we're fragile and weak, and because we've gone through some tough times, maybe because we weren't strategically taking care of our bodies as we should, so it doesn't function as well. And now you are. No, change your thoughts too with it. Extremely capable, powerful, and strong. Okay, so yogis, we have two more things to do. It's 9:47. I want you to hit the abs and the obliques, and then I want you to hit the butt. We just came from the back and then the side. So I'm going to go into the abs. Remember, this is our antagonist training. It's kind of a challenging approach. So here we go.
You know it. A crunch is a phenomenal exercise when done well. Okay. Now, the basics is just kind of like here. This is like the truest basic, right? Low back down, knees pushing the hands, hand pushing the knees, pelvic floor up, belly pulls in. Oh, that's the basic. Next basic is kind of rocking, maybe you lift a little. I still have this kind of connection between the hands and I still have my block between. The block is the same color as my pants here. The next option is this, guys. Now the goal is to close the eyes and to connect that conscious awareness to your abs right down the middle, okay? If you're ready, you start to do it, already with levering. The exhale is kind of more for the crunch. You could hear me making the sound so you could hear that exhale. At the top of that contraction is the bottom of the exhale. Let's go. Remember, you can put your back on I'm not going to do like fancy abs, yogis. The whole class is basically abs. This is kind of like the isolated abs in the end. I kind of make you work your back first. And your squats, and then if you have energy left, you do crunches. Okay. Now I go right into the next one, guys. Now for all of us, the legs will hover. This is complex leg lever. That was linear. My knee, the first one, guys, is knees to the side. Everyone knows this. We have to kind of keep doing this, yogis. Okay. This is the transverse abdominis. This is all 4 layers, right? My knees go right. I'll show you in this angle. That's the good one. And if I hold and pulse, move skillfully, mind to turning core. More is to start to go forward. See how I go forward also? Then I start to dance. I use the word dance in artist, yogis, and artist, dancer, explorer. I consider myself a rational scientist to some degree, but I have to be very careful because science is almost very limiting. It's like they need to be able to repeat. It's like we always are. It's almost like science slows progress, right? The artist in the abs. And if you're getting good at it, we're still going. A lot of you is already resting while I keep demoing. It's the full lever, yogis, and you're kind of like going outside the comfort zone. And I'm just holding it with my core. I'm even like holding a crunch now. I'm going over to that side. The goal is to contract muscles. I'm pulsing in the side. I'm pulsing on the angle. Whatever I need to do to contract well, it's kind of like locust, but in the front. Okay, so you're finishing. I'm only doing 3 ab exercises, yogis. You really don't need a lot. I have a pretty strong core. I don't blast my abs. I do like a little often. And it's gonna sound a little ego, but I think my core is stronger than most people's who do a lot of core because of the strategy behind it, not because I do more. When has quantity ever really been the measure? It's quality, intelligence. Okay, I'm gonna give you a break. This is your last ab exercise, and it is now. Remember, the leg asymmetrical is different. That was really a twist. You did one down the middle. You did one kind of like this. We could have done it like this too, right? Last exercise. A beginner is this. Again, I'm showing you the breath. A little more is hovering, adding something like this. Another style of the beginner last core is something like this. It's really excellent, by the way, guys. You know, simple is smart. More is kind of like here. More is bicycle, you're adding both together. Athletic is arm versus leg through core. It's just like locust. Down to the left, back to the right. Pelvic tuck, left shoulder lifts. As I double angle lever, I lift my hips and I lift my left shoulder. So if my legs go down left, my arm goes back right. As they come back to me, my hips and my shoulder lift too. It's the double crunch. It's the same as this, where the shoulders and hips lift. It's angled. That is in body calisthenics, that's like the one, right? If you have to pick one, that is probably it. You can also just do this on your back. Last exercise, switch sides.
You kind of want to go until your abs, it depends on the day, they contract different every day, until they hurt a little and they contract and you feel something new in there. This is it. You have to do your bridges after this, and then that's basically class today, okay? I'm bringing you right to the end with active stuff. So yogis, now we have to do that back bend after. And really it tends to be a little less struggle. The abs tend to be very intense and demanding, and the bridge isn't so bad, depending on your approach this morning.
You shake it out. I like to rotate my hips, right? Even though, you know, we didn't really rotate the hips there. So doing something like this is phenomenal to kind of reset. Last effort, beginners, hold bridge. Maybe start to walk your feet a little more forward. Pulse. Second tier, one-legged bridge. Hold. You need the butt. Yogis, push your big toe down, like grip. That helps you fire your butt better. We've gone over pronation. Posterior tilt. If you want to go athletic still, you know what to do. You sit up, you get some weight on the arms. This is your reverse plank. You did side plank, rotational plank, now reverse plank, but it's butt. Up, pause. And for a lack of a better word, your butt has to hurt a little. Your butt is basically supposed to be your strongest muscle in the tensegrity. Putting a foot on a block is great. Doing a sliding bridge, maybe. Come on, yogis, have fun there. Do your practice. We're just in kind of posterior lower body. Bridge, slide forward, flex those feet, pull it back. This is going to be more hamstrings than butt, just to be clear. Last 2 to 3 rounds, you are done after this.
I remember when I was learning the kines, and Dale Perry was kind of like, if muscles are weak, it's kind of like the ultimate red flag, right? Like a weak body is like a huge problem. We don't want to lose our strength. It's related to like vitality and energy. It's very difficult to gain this valuable state of your body. It takes remembering and attention and courage. Work on being courageous, yogis. Nice, Brian. A wheel pose. Don't forget, you can add wheel and reverse plank. A lot of options I didn't give. So we got, I can give you another good minute here, guys. This is back body time. No going in the front body. Now, I do want you to take your time. It looks like most people are still going. Now, I'll just give you a quick stretch or two, yogis. I have a lot of friends, and all they do is lift weights, right? They do cardio, lift weights. They don't do any stretching. They skip stretching for years. It's okay if the yogis skip stretching in the class, right? I know stretching feels so good, and I like to remind you it's overdone by the yoga community. Big time, right? Let's notice that. Let's be objective. Can't just fall into what we're always doing. But if you need a quick stretch, we kind of did a lot for the stretching. The spiral, we did the hinging, the hamstrings, we needed back for the thighs. One good way to sit up and get a lot done quickly could be something like this. I love this stretch, yogis, the straddle. If I sit and go forward, it tends to be a little bit more of those hamstrings. You did a lot of laterals, but if you need one side stretch like that, you did some stuff this weekend. This is tight, and then a side stretch, right? If not, you're kind of right down the middle. You could do a little kind of half pose too. That feels pretty good some days. A little butterfly with the leg out. Take good another 30, 40 seconds here. Maybe start to switch sides if you're doing kind of a one-sided side bender leg. I like to remind you, yesterday I squatted, most difficult exercise I do in the week, scary. It's very much a mental, emotional struggle. Each rep, each round, I have to kind of I love it and I know it's good for me, but I have to kind of remind myself and be brave to get under there. I'm like, I love it and I get in and I do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I'm doing this. But each time I step up to that bar, it's like, I'm making excuses in my mind. And my point was there, the most difficult, between them, I'm doing yoga poses. This is the between the stretch, the warrior, right? The yoga between is between this is the stretch, between, right? Just to put it in perspective. Continuing, here would be the spinal twist and the pigeon. Right heel out, my legs cross. You were forward bending in the round, they cross, you sit up, you turn, you get the neck. I go here, I get the shoulder. Now I want you to take your time and you kind of switch up sides. Traditionally in yoga, we would do the double bent knee. So you swing your bottom leg around too. That's the traditional finish there, straddle to seated bent knee twist. Now I want you to take your time. It is 10:01. If you need to be somewhere, how about a 30-second meditation? You got time for 30 seconds. Remember, the experts in meditation say, hey, let's make it practical. You want to start a meditation practice? Our goal is 1 minute a day. That's it. Whether it's when you wake up, right before you go to bed, a quick moment in the parking lot before you walk in somewhere. You start to make it more often, not long time. So your initial goal is your most mindful, your most still, your most centered and grounded self. You're relaxed, feeling good, melting, resting. Maybe you shake it out, take a deep breath, but then you just let go, yogi. Closing meditation, just 2 minutes today.